001. Witness the man, witness the facility, a warmed gray light in the sky with vague humid air above the ground, the miles of tunneling the machine requires. 002. His name is Anatole. It is 1978. Anatoly, a pleasantness within the word itself. It's clean. 003. The facility is the Institute for High Energy Physics, the Kurchatov Institute, so named for Igor Kurchatov, autodidact, key figure in development of Soviet nuclear weapons, buried in Kremlin Wall necropolis in 1978. 004. The work being done there, the workers, Anatole. In every corridor and room there is work being done. The workers wear white and black. The work is concrete and there is little rumor. 005. There is not the sense of competition within this place. 006. There was only work, the machine, a particle accelerator, a long cycle through which the crude elements of matter can be made to collide, a kind of experiment extending then from every national impulse to conquer, to see, to ruin, to persist. 007. Radiation sickness is caused by the invisible rays given off by particles of radioactive fallout. If a person has received a large dose of radiation in a short period of time, generally less than a week, he will become seriously ill and probably will die. And there's an image of a spectrometer, or I think a dosimeter. 008. The elements are moving throughout it almost at the speed of light, the circuit's magnetic lining guiding these elements until it is July 13th, 1978. A brightness 2 in the sky, the shot of sun puncturing until it is not July 13th. An accelerator accident involving exposure to a proton beam caused 1 injury. WRJ. 009. The U-70 synchrotron is the largest of these accelerators on Earth. The amount of coiled wires contained therein is nearly impossible to conceive of, and without easy comparison beyond other similar machines, though all were smaller then. A marvel on a scale with precedent only in great cathedrals, fortifications, which were made across centuries. 010. There's an issue. There's a problem. The worker, Anatole, then, is notified and made to respond, and as on any other day the thing is clear, the task is clear, and so he goes. 011. A piece of equipment on the machine is malfunctioning. No. Anatole will go to check the room to ascertain. No. It is a room. The piece of equipment itself is a room, a section of the tunneling. It is a tunnel carved into the earth in Protvino, coiling and coiling in on itself, in constant coiling. It permeates every single thing at the facility. 012. What did Anatole eat that morning? What did he talk about with his family? It is morning. Anatole ate a simple breakfast and stared out the window at the gray sun. He didn't speak, just mumbled softly throughout the home, the apartment. 013. It is like a scale applied to reality. It is like a scale applied to reality. 014. The place is a post box, a mailbox, named because it's known by the box and nothing else. It is anonymous. Chernobyl has not yet happened. It is a community, Protvino, organized around the work being done there, and though in time it will grow, it presently centers on certain key points, Anatole being at the center of one. 015. In the morning, let's say Anatole ate some bread. Perhaps he ate some bread. Some toasted bread with oatmeal. It is morning in 1978 in the Soviet Union. Perhaps coffee or tea. Perhaps Anatole ate his toast with oatmeal and had a cup of strong tea. Let's say the dimness of the world and sky is a kind of comfort to his bones. He is not cold. 016. In the morning he wakes up. The world is maybe gray. The work is a kind of monotony. There are worse things than a kind of monotony. 017. Who is Anatole's family? Is there a happiness in his family, in the morning, eating and the like? Does he live alone? The optimisms in the post-war generation exist, and potentially they thrive. In Vino, perhaps they thrive. And there's an image of Phineas Gage's skull and the metal spike that penetrated his skull back in the 19th century. 018. Vino, the little world, the little window on the world. The machine is a spectacle in itself. The machine evokes a kind of wonderment, a wonder. 019. The people working there experience a kind of daily awe, sure. There is this sense of a great mission, a great endeavor, an understanding being reached about the makeup of our universe that is exhilarating to witness. Drink your tea, drink your coffee, wake up and off to work. The small facility within the world within the world. It is not small. That's incorrect to say. It's incorrect to call it small. 020. The object is simple, not the facility, the object. The object being Anatole's moment. This is simple. 021. The work being done by Anatole is a pleasant and fulfilling work. Curiosity over the machine, the machines. A life looking for error or looking for malfunction and trying to figure something out. His hair is black and his skin is pale. He does not excessively sweat. 022. Until recent years, there was no very satisfactory treatment of this malady. The ancient practice of bleeding was as useful as anything, giving temporary relief but not striking at the underlying cause, the sickness meaning, the resultant sickness. And there's an image of a man working at the particle accelerator in Vino. 023. That morning in July, or maybe June, Anatole could walk. Anatole could walk to work and see those nearby who headed into their work. That was the summer when his feet made soft and clicking sounds upon the ground. 024. The machine will someday be disassembled, leaving the tunnel within the ground. Then, though, the machine is thriving, if such a machine could be said to thrive. 025. Anatole is not a rich man, nor are any of those working with him there rich men. This is a small orb, a little space wherein the engineers can be tossed, scientists can be tossed. Perhaps tossed is too cynical. Placed. They can be placed. 026. Perhaps they are thinking of the war, the utility of such understandings. But these workers are buried beneath the earth. These workers are underground, puttering away at these machines, this machine, and trying to make some sense of it. The machine is a sort of synecdoche of itself, comprised as it is of countless parts of it, each of which function as machines. 027. To share an understanding of it would be an impossibility. No. To possess an understanding of it would be an impossibility. One has only the futility of the imagination and paperwork. 028. Anatole works on particular elements, as all of them work on particular elements, and the whole of the thing is rather like an idea, its particularities being accelerated by these particular elements, controlled by numerous men and women. 029. Born in 1942, in June. Born under the sign of Cancer, born already then under the bright sign of radiation, born under the radiating light, a small, pale boy with darkest hair even in youth. 030. Symptoms of radiation sickness may not be noticed for several days. The early symptoms are lack of appetite, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, weakness, and headache. Later, the patient may have sore mouth, loss of hair, bleeding gums, bleeding under the skin, and diarrhea. But these same symptoms can be caused by other diseases, and not everyone who has radiation sickness shows all of these symptoms or shows them all at once. 031. The room is not a room but a chamber. only differentiated from one another in that they are different, differing, bodily different. The room is painted white and would not be the kind of place you'd want to take a nap. 032. And did he have a happy childhood? Life was a repetitive thing. The fear of annihilation was there, remaining, and the reaction to their bombing was there, lingering, and he was born into this world, born into the SFSR, Tarkovsky's world, a world of warm but hazy light, a villager's world, wherein the simple morning could require the whole of someone, their entire presence. 033. Substance is what exists independently of what is the case. This was the nuclear era, wherein almost every thought could not be divorced from it. The world, then, had a nuclear substance. Protvino, in its way, embodied this substance, Kurchatov's substance. 034. It is form and content. Black hair, and as a child could it have been blonde? It was not blonde. And his mother, there, would her demeanor have been affected by the bombing, and his father, surely, embroiled in the military, and two, the world of Solzhenitsyn, the world of the Gulag, and the 20 million, or 50, sure, 50. There's an image of a train track outside of Protvino in the winter, which is also the image on the cover of this edition of it. 035. Space, time, and color are forms of objects. The land in Protvino, the world made of war, the color of the timber in the snow along the railroad tracks. 036. His was a world drenched in death, and as a boy did he put his hands into the dirt or mud or jump into the river, the cold in every place. He put his hands into the dirt and felt the energy, the warmth of the world exude, and felt the mud and did jump into the river. 037. The fixed, the existent, and the object are one, but there are developments. There is the university. There is a life beyond a life, pursuit, going towards something, the red light outside of the room which was not lit. 038. His morning like any morning ever in his world, and the cold and the fog hasn't yet lifted on the small hills around Protvino. And are there hills? He puts himself into his clothing, and he exits, and he walks to work. And the work is a militaristic work for some, but for him there is the nice light of failure, a failure that can make this an artistry. It is an exciting time in his life, and he feels sure. 039. He is awake. He is walking in the morning, no light to work. He is whole, and the day is normal, and it isn't troublesome. There is not music, but the soft clipping of his feet and school children. 040. We can see his person then, the figure of Anatole, a man in his late 20s, working in the career he would remain in for all of his life, but in the beginning of it. And we can feel ourselves in this moment, ambitious but only just, and cleansed of youth and clean. 041. And thinking around the machine was not as engaged by the public as it might go on to be after disasters, after his disaster, and after searches for the God particle swept up the public consciousness. It became its small industry, but in that morning he is cleanly shorn of any public. He is clean. 042. So we can behold the man in his relative anonymity and the morning and the light, and every day this kind of work being done by this young man to assist in the explorations being done, and like his fellows he is sometimes compelled by this endeavor, and sometimes too he sees it as a worthwhile thing to which to devote one's time, one's life. 043. The form is the possibility of the structure. The workers who came before him there, who made the coiling structure, these too are the form. 044. We can see, witness, behold the landscape in this part of the world. Buildings carved out of the surrounding forest, a community growing and all then circling around this machine. There are massive buildings, houses, and apartment complexes. The forest is beautiful, and the forest floor in winter takes on a magical quality, as of the fairy tale, wherein the workers can walk and get lost on the days when they are not working.